Good morning, guys. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Deval. This is Roots and Creation, and I'm just coming on here today. I have quite a bit to do, but I wanted to bring you guys along for some stuff here. So the farmers market is a go, and it starts this Sunday in the afternoon, so it's going to run from 12 to 5 out here where I live. And I'm in Edgewood, New Mexico, in the high desert, about 7,000 feet elevation. So I'm excited about it, but I'm very nervous about it too. So we'll see how that goes. I don't have a ton of crops ready for the market yet. I do have some lettuce and stuff that I'm going to be taking, and I guess that makes me a little bit nervous, and this is my first time ever doing this. So I'm going to bring you guys along with me on that adventure and just kind of show you how I set up for the first time and how it goes for that day. I will let you know on that. And in the meantime, I think my dog might be getting into my plants. Let me go check that. I had to run out and get these two plants off the deck really quick. I watered them this morning, but Daisy just decided she would get in it and break it. So here I've been struggling with this one. You know, as a lot of you know, this is my first time with a lot of things. So anyway, I've been struggling with this guy or gal, and she has just been struggling a lot. So I did some research. It says they like really humid areas and stuff. So I set up a humidifier over here. It says to try to bunch the flowers together. So I did that as well. Because I have this orchid in here too, which she's actually looking really good with her new leaves coming in, so I'm happy about that. And then I have a little asparagus fern back here that is just absolutely loving this window. But anyway, I'm trying to create a better environment for this one here, and hopefully, I don't know, hopefully she bounces back soon. So yes, if she looks a little sad, she is. That's the first time I've ever owned one of these, so I'm trying to learn. But hopefully, like I said, the humidifier helps. I'm also gonna, well, I did add a little bit of soil to her pot, but I think she needs to be probably repotted in some good fresh soil. So I bought some Miracle Grow, so I might do that as well. And then this one here, I finally moved her out of this bay window, and she seems much happier here. So she's finally kind of growing out some longer leaves and vines and stuff. So I think she's happy right here, and I'm gonna leave her there. I started some new seeds indoors. I've been having a lot of issues with birds getting my seedlings outside. So I ended up starting all of these seeds indoors, and I hung up my grow lights. This one fell, so I have to put that one back up. But they've all sprouted. Well, not all of them, but a good majority of them have little sprouts on them. So I'm excited about that. So I'm going to keep just letting them grow in here for now until they get big enough to transplant outdoors. And then I have to find a spot for them. Most of my garden space outdoors is taken up. I do have a few little bare places that I think I can throw some things in. But this morning I was looking at this one, and I noticed I had started some pumpkins in here, and they are like taking off, and so are their roots. So I need to get these guys in the ground right away. I'm pleasantly happy that the roots broke through like that, because sometimes these little casings, that doesn't happen. Anyway, I'm gonna take those out this morning and get those planted in a spot in my garden. It has been just extremely, extremely hot with no rain, and that's been a little challenging lately. As you can see, I can't even see because the sun is just so bright, but I do want to give you guys an updated tour on the garden and let you know how everything's going. I am praying, keeping my fingers crossed that my lettuce doesn't bolt before Sunday. And it's supposed to be like 93 today, 96 tomorrow. So I'm having to just kind of keep my fingers crossed on that one. I'd really like to get some lettuce heads to the market just so that we have some vegetables and produce over there. I don't think we have too many vendors signed up that are actual growers. More of them seem to be crafts people or bakers, which is fine. I'm excited about all of that. So at least it's a start for our small little community up here. And anyway, let me turn the camera around and I'll show you guys how things are going. All right, so here is my zinnias, and they're starting to get nice and big. And my calendula is also doing really well. My pansies finally started taking off, so they're starting to grow. I do have cilantro coming up. Still no oregano, rosemary, or sage, which I'll probably have to replant those three. I do have a ton of thyme coming up, which excites me as well. My dill is doing fabulous, which is funny because in my other garden over there, it just volunteered itself to come up all through the entire garden. So I've been kind of leaving it to do that, and it's overtaking. But that's another thing that I could probably get to the market this weekend and sell a little bit of. Hopefully if people like and use dill. It's not dried, it's going to be fresh dill, but you never know, maybe they'll like it. I got these two planters at Walmart they were on sale for like 10 bucks a piece, and they were looking a little kind of rough, but you know what, they've actually turned out really pretty. I'm very happy with them. And in here I ended up planting my annuals. Well, there's some annuals and there's some perennials. I'm trying to grow perennials and see how they do. As a matter of fact, I'm creating a document which I'll be selling on my Etsy account that kind of tracks perennials when you first plant them, and you can track them through the seasons just to see how they do. And because I'm in the elevation that I'm in and it's so dry, I tried to find some drought resistant perennials, and I'm hoping that they do really well, but I do want to track them. So that's what that document is going to be for, is to go ahead and track those now through fall, through the winter, see how they do, see if they come back next spring, summer, because eventually, I mean, I want to plant a lot of stuff out here, but I want it to be somewhat drought tolerant, and I want them to be hardy so that they last out here. Plus they have to survive the cold in the winter. So we're gonna see how those go. But this garden is absolutely doing fabulous. I'm loving it because it is so pretty. It's attracting pollinators, which is what I wanted. And yeah, I'm really kind of enjoying this for my first little garden bed out here. And I hope it does well, because I will happily put garden beds like this all over the yard. This is a little calla lily, and she's doing okay. I mean, I'm surprised she's done as good as she has, but we'll see how she does. But you could tell she's very pretty actually, and doing very well. So a lot of these I found on sale. See, as you can see, these stems here are broken. I need to just trim them off, but I got them planted And then I put down the vinca vines because I'm hoping they'll be a good ground cover. And I'm hoping to be able to drape them over the cement blocks and just make that look even more appealing and pretty. My raspberry bushes aren't doing anything. I highly doubt there's going to be anything there. These guys are doing well. These are cucumbers. And I think what I'm going to have to do is move them probably out here. I don't know. I'm still brainstorming this. Probably out here I'm going to have to put up a trellis for it. So, but I also have cantaloupe coming up and watermelon in some grow bags, this one and that one over there. So I think I'll move both of them out and then put the trellis near so both of them can kind of vine upwards. But as you can see, I need to get that done and going because this one is already looking for somewhere to hold on to. So I got to get that done. Probably work on that today. These guys are doing well. I've had a horrible time with the birds out here eating all of my seedlings. So I have plants that are starting very late. Here's some more cucumbers. And they're looking good. I'll move those ones out here too when I go to trellis so that they can vine up as well. But just, you guys, the heat out here has just been, it's just been horrid, man. And we're in the 90s every day. It's just hot. My spinach didn't even make it. It bolted, as you can see. So that was kind of a bummer. But my lettuce is looking good. In here, I have zucchini, which is very small because I had to replant it because the birds ate all of my original seeds. This is zucchini as well. So yeah, it's definitely been a year. For whatever reason, I have this bare spot in my garden. And I've planted radish and I've planted arugula. And as you can see, things come up and then it's just this bare spot right here. So I do not understand. I don't understand what is happening there. I really don't understand it. The other problem I've been fighting is if you can see all of the little shotgun holes in my arugula leaves. And I don't know if, I keep looking it up and it says that I have flea beetles, but I'm almost wondering if it wasn't the sun to begin with. I don't know. It says I have flea beetles. I have not seen a single beetle out here, but if you look at these guys, they're just full of holes, which really disappoints me because I love arugula. So I don't know what's happening. I don't know if it is flea beetles and I'm just not seeing them at all, or if it's been the sun has just been so detrimentally hot that it's just chewing them up. I can't figure that out. Unfortunately, that happened to those, and also it had been happening to my radish. Even though I pulled some nice little radish out of here, look at this one here, but see, something chewed it up over here. So an animal got to it, which is a bummer. But I have pulled some very good tasting radish out of here, but yeah, they're just all chewed up. My beets are slow too this year. These little ones are kind of small, and then these ones start to get a little bigger here, which thank God, because I was starting to lose hope on these two. But then again, I get to this side of the bed and there's nothing. I mean, it's just the strangest thing. I don't understand what's happening right there. So and then in here you can see that all of my spinach it just all bolted. It's just too hot. This here is romaine lettuce, and it looks to be doing well so far. So as long as it doesn't bolt, I'm hoping I get some good little heads out of it. It still has some growing to do, but it is looking healthy so far. This one here is iceberg. I think these are iceberg. Yes, these are iceberg. This is iceberg lettuce. These guys look nothing like store-bought iceberg at all, but they are very pretty and leafy, and they taste good. They're not too bitter or anything. So fingers crossed they stay. As you can see, I have a ton of bees and stuff flying around in there. And then this one here is Butter Crunch. These are my Butter Crunch lettuces, and they're looking fabulous. So these are the ones that I'm going to harvest along with some of these cinnamon reds. I'm going to harvest some of these cinnamon reds and get them to the market this weekend. They're going to be smaller heads, you know what I mean, but I think they're going to be great. So I just, like I said, I'm just trying to keep them from bolting, or hoping and praying that they don't bolt on me. Anyway, that's this garden. Here is my one little yellow squash that survived the massacre of birds, from the birds, and it's doing good. So I'm happy. I mean, all in all, I'm okay. It's not really market garden status per se, but if I can get a few things out of it, I think that will be good. It's just been a struggle this year, man. The heat came on. We had a freeze late May into May, got everything planted, and the heat just came on in June like nothing else, man. We've been in the 90s. As you can see from the rest of my yard, just dry. The rain just keeps going around us. It's just been something else. So as you can see, my cucumbers over here are desperately struggling, and I think they're just dealing with sun scald real bad, but a couple of them look pretty healthy still. So I just need to get them, I need to get these guys vined up too. So I'm going to get a trellis over here along this side where they can climb. I have one cauliflower, two maybe, that have made it, but my cabbage all sizzled up. My broccoli sprouts all disappeared. I had a whole row of broccoli sprouts here. They're all gone. I do have some caraway coming up, so I'm excited about that. Hopefully that makes it. In here I have carrots and Swiss chard, and I have peas, which are starting to struggle. Just because, again, because of the heat. The sun is just brutal. So I need to figure out some shade and some shade cloths, because they're just not going to make it. You know what I mean? They're just getting charred out here. So that's kind of a bummer, but something I have to learn. More stuff I have to learn for this area and this elevation. And then this garden's doing really pretty good. There's some struggles going on here too. My tomatoes are all doing really well. my marjoram keeps wanting to go to flower, as you can see. I don't know if you could see that, but they're developing these little flower buds on them. I keep trimming them, but they just keep going to that, so it's just too hot, I guess, for those. But anyway, my tomatoes are looking good. My artichokes are absolutely just thriving out here. Peppers finally started to root and are starting to grow, so fingers crossed that I get some good peppers out here too. One thing that's definitely been struggling is some basil, and again, just the heat. If you see here, just leaves are just burning up, and that's unfortunate. We did harvest some okra. Those tiny little pods you guys saw in my last video. We ended up taking those off and harvesting those, and as you can see, the plants are starting to get bigger now. But they were actually pretty good little okra. Jay fried them up and they turned out good. This is the dill that I was telling you guys about that just kind of volunteered itself all over the garden, which is fine. I'm just kind of letting it grow, but I could probably cut that and keep that. I have one bean plant here that kind of volunteered, and then one over there that volunteered, and those are the best two bean plants I have because I had planted them in here, and as you can see, again, just completely fried. This one might make it, the rest just absolutely fried. My lavender bush is starting to look a lot better, finally. So or not my lavender, my lilac bush. So I think it was just a problem with it just trying to root and develop, and I think it's finally starting to, still some heavy burden on it, but it is definitely looking better. I have one little sunflower coming up here that survived. I had planted a bunch in here, but again, the birds ate every single one of them that was coming up, and now it's just full of weeds, so that didn't go so well. But at least I have the one that they didn't find. Yeah, you guys, the birds out here, I love birds. I absolutely love them, but man, they have been the most difficult to deal with as far as seedlings go. My corn is starting to grow and take off, and it's doing good. Hopefully I make the season before it freezes or anything crazy. So anyway, tomatoes, I should have a magnificent amount of tomatoes as long as I can keep them from getting bottom end rot or anything like that. And we do fertilize with a very good fertilizer from, I think it's Fox Farms. It's the Grow Big. I believe it's Fox Farms. Anyway, we use that as fertilizer. So they should be good to go. This morning I noticed I do have one. Let's see if I can find it again. I have one little tomato growing. But I don't remember where it was at. I want to say it was on this one, but I am not seeing. Oh yeah, there it is. So I do have one little tomato that I found so far. So they're starting, which is great news. And again, if I can get my peppers to take off, that'll be good. The artichokes, that's going to be interesting. Nope, out. Because I've never grown the artichokes, and I'm anxious to see how how that works out. But anyway, that's it for the garden. I do have some plants that are struggling out here. I don't know what happened here. See this little one, maybe too much food, maybe too much fertilizer. I don't know, something shocked it, and a couple over here that are struggling too. And I'm not sure why, because they're just right here. And then the other ones, everyone around them are doing great. So who knows? Life is a question. Yeah, so with some of the stuff that I'm struggling with, again, I am in Edgewood, New Mexico, in the high elevation, about 7,000 feet. It's cool in the mornings. It's been, I don't know, we've been waking up in the 50s, sometimes the low 60s. And then by 3-4 o'clock, it's like today it's going to be 93. Tomorrow it's supposed to be 96. I mean, just the temperature fluctuation is crazy up here. So, you know, I understand why a lot of my plants are struggling. But look here. Let me see if I can get over there. I'm going to turn this around again. So if you guys can see, I don't know if you can see it. There it goes. It just jumped down, this little bird. These little thrasher birds, I think they're called, are the ones that are literally wreaking havoc in my garden. I'm gonna walk this way. You can see them all in between the lettuce. And I have no doubts that they are the ones that have been eating all of my sprouts, which is, it's just frustrating. And don't get me wrong, I love the birds, but I put bird seed out for them, and nope, they just want that. And part of me is wondering if it's like a water thing, because it's just so dry. It's been so dry. And we've gotten rain around us, but just nothing here. And it's crazy to me. This is probably the driest it's been since we moved out here. See, there goes another one. And they just, I don't know, they get in there. And so I don't know if they're getting in there to get the sprouts for the water. I don't know what's happening, but they are making me mad. To say the least right now. Okay, please don't mind the mess. I've had so much going on in the kitchen, and I have stuff everywhere. We made a bar of soap last night, which I'll show you guys here in a second. This time we actually used lard in it, and I'm very excited to see how it turns out, because I have heard that lard is extremely conditioning on the skin, and so I'm excited about that. I want to see how this bar turns out. And anyway, it's still in the mold, so I'll have to come back and show you guys that another time probably. But what else I've been working on is sourdough. So sourdough bread, cinnamon rolls, cookies with the discard, all of that good stuff. And I was really hoping to have a good batch to take to the market this weekend, but I have a really bad feeling I ruined my starter. It's still active somewhat. It's getting bubbles and stuff in it, which means that it's still active, but it has not risen in several days. And I think what happened is that here we are on the town well system, and the water here is very sour. It just has a very sour taste. We don't drink it. We also have a water softener because it is extremely hard water, and if we don't, we would be replacing faucets and everything else weekly probably, just with the calcium deposits and the buildup from the minerals. So I use it very rarely to cook with. Obviously, do we shower in it? We use it to wash dishes, stuff like that, but I don't cook with it. I definitely knew not to use it because of the water softener, not to use it in my starter. So we haul in water We typically, there's a place here in Edgewood where we get it. The problem with the place here is it still tastes sour. And so I don't like drinking it. So if we're gonna pay to haul in water, I would rather it be something that I can drink. So lately we've been going to a water place in Moriarty. Well, Jay does this. It's 5 gallon, the 5 gallon jugs. I had one out earlier. It's a 5 gallon jug. So he'll drive to Moriarty. He fills them and he'll bring them back. So I was using spring water for my starter. And then when he told me he was going out to Moriarty, I was like, oh, that's great. I'll just start using that water for my starter. So I started using that water. Well, then shortly after, I kind of noticed, my starter's not rising. Like, I don't understand what is happening here. So I think it was last weekend, I went out with him to fill the waters, and I looked at the machine, and it is a reverse osmosis filtering machine. So I was like, oh my goodness, great for us, probably not so good for starters. So I looked it up, and sure enough, do not use reverse osmosis, distilled water, blah, 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 in your starters. So I have a really bad feeling that I may have killed my starter, which is a bummer because it smells like, the smell is on point. It is, and it has a great taste to it. I have made some bread. The problem is it's not springing up high enough, so it's dense inside. And I keep thinking I'm doing something wrong. I'm over fermenting it or something like that. Well, I have a feeling now that it's been my starter this whole time. So I did go back to the spring water, and the last few days I've done that. I don't know if you guys can see in here. Let me see. Yeah, I think I might have to do this. Okay, so let me set this down. So I'm not sure if you guys can see in here, but if you can see that there's still little bubbles, right? So it's still very active, but it's not rising, and I cannot figure it out for the life of me. So like I said, it smells amazing. The smell is just this perfect, tangy little sourdough smell, right? I don't want to get rid of it, and I don't want to start over. I'm hoping that I can save this somehow. I have 2 of them going though, because I'm trying to do bread, and I'm trying to do cinnamon rolls. Like, the cinnamon rolls are extremely important to me, especially out here. If I can get a really good cinnamon roll, nice, fluffy, with just a great gooey feeling, that is my goal, because I would definitely make those every day and sell them probably every day. I would probably go sit out at a lot that we have around here every morning and sell them. The problem is my starter. I just cannot. I don't know how to fix it. Yesterday I decided, oh, let me put it in a warmer room, right? So I put it out in my sunroom. It's not a sunroom, it's just a side room. I put it in a place where it doesn't get any direct sunlight, but that room warms up. So I thought, okay, let me try it out there. Well, I went out yesterday and I checked the temp on it, and it was up to 101. So I was like, oh my gosh, it can't be that high. So I moved it back inside. So I'm just gonna leave it in here today and pray that it does okay. Right now it's sitting at 73.5 for that one degrees, and this one's at 74.3, which I feel like it should be a little bit warmer. I probably could put it in my oven. I might try that today, just move it into my oven just with the light on to see if it'll warm it up a little bit more. but just so disappointing. It's just so disappointing and frustrating because I have put so much time, like literally I have probably 2 months into this starter, 2 months at least. And so it's so disappointing to see it to where it was somewhat rising. It's never fully doubled, but it was somewhat rising, and then now the last few days, nothing. There's no rise in it. The market is on Sunday. I was really hoping this sucker would bounce back by tomorrow so that I can get everything ready and prepped excuse me, and bake on Saturday for the market on Sunday. So that's what I was hoping for, but I don't know. I just really want to cry. I really do want to cry. But if you guys have any suggestions on how I can revive this sucker, I have changed the ratio. So this is what I've done. I have Googled it, and of course, when you Google things, you get 50 different answers, but I have done the 1-to-1-to-1 ratio. I have gone all the way up to a 1-to-7-to-7 ratio. I am now at I have 100 grams of starter, 200 grams of flour, and I have backed off my water a little bit just because it keeps getting so, it's just pours, like it thins out so much that I'm like, maybe I have too much water in it. So I lowered my water. Instead of doing 200, right now I'm doing about 175, 180. So I backed that off a little bit. The dough is definitely thicker. I don't know. So I'm hoping maybe it'll hold more air that way, but I did that yesterday too. I backed off the water and I did it overnight. I fed it again yesterday afternoon, did it overnight, and nothing. Just no rise whatsoever. Like I said, bubbles, nice and bubbly through both of them, but not a single lift in them at all. So if you guys are master sourdough starter experts, I could really use some suggestions or some advice on how to revive these suckers. I started, here's another thing I've been doing. lessons, right? I bought these and started doing my starters in here because it is much easier for me to clean these out than it is for me to clean these out. So this is what I was using, jars, but it is so darn hard to clean them that I was actually sending a lot of flour and flour down my drains. And I was watching somebody on YouTube, because I frequent YouTube to try to figure things out or try to get ideas. And I was watching this guy and he's like, whatever you do, don't rinse this stuff or put it down your drain, it will ruin your plumbing. So I was like, oh, lovely, great. So these, I cannot get those jars scraped out enough to where I'm not rinsing a whole bunch down the drain. These I can. So I've switched over to these. I'm praying that they work fine. The lids are on loose. They're not tight. So yes. So that was another thing that I've been doing wrong. So now I'm trying to scrape as much as I can out, wipe it out with paper towel, and then wash it, and it seems to be way less flour dough going down my faucet. So I think I'm happy with that. Maybe averted a potential issue down the road. I don't know, but I'm gonna believe what this guy said about that. So anyway, like I said, if you guys have any suggestions on what I can do with my starter to get it to start rising again, please let me know. Like I've tried different ratios, and it's frustrating too because there's just so much different things out there. That was the problem I was having with my original bread recipe too. Every time I look up sourdough bread recipe, all the recipes are different, or they all require a different starter amount or whatever. The other issue I have is that I know a lot of people, they are doing this at sea level. or right above sea level. I'm at 7,000 feet elevation. So I have to, I know it's weird. You wouldn't think, I guess you wouldn't think that you would have to account for that. But for whatever reason in baking, you have to account for elevation rise. With my starter and my bread, I don't know how to do that. Right now, all I'm trying to do is get a good, consistent recipe together that is going to hold, have a great rise, a nice ear, and bloom. And that has been the struggle. So unfortunately, I'm a little disappointed. I am a little disappointed with that, but I don't think all is lost. But I would love some advice. So if you guys have any suggestions and you happen to see this video, if you could just drop me a comment and let me know what you think. Let me know what ratio you think would work to get this re-rising. That would be great. I'm happy to change it up to however I need to. Like I said, right now it's at a 100, 200, 175. And that's only because I noticed it was getting too runny, which is happening with my bread also. I mix it, it's shaggy, I let it do the amylase for 30 minutes, then it feels really good, but after the fourth stretch and fold, it just starts getting stickier, like stickier and wetter and stickier and wetter. And I'm doing them every 30 minutes, so by the time I do my fourth one, it's only been about 2.5 hours. So I can't imagine that I'm over fermenting in 2.5 hours when then everybody leaves their dough to proof for another 2 to 3 hours. So something is happening, something is breaking down, and then by the time I get it out of the dish, it's just a sloppy mess. So I feel like it's too much liquid. I am using the King Arthur unbleached bread flour, just so you know. And yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with my failure of a sourdough journey right now. But I'm not giving up. I refuse to give up. I love sourdough bread. That is actually, aside from tortillas and stuff once in a while, which I will make sourdough tortillas too, once I get everything going right. But sourdough is my go-to bread over any other white store-bought bread. It's my go-to bread. I order it if we go out to eat. That's what I order, sourdough bread, stuff like that. So anyway, I'm a little disappointed. I think I'm more frustrated. I think I'm honestly more frustrated right now because I have literally fed this guy. I have literally fed this guy for 2 months straight. Almost every 12 hours, you know what I mean? There's been a time where I've missed a feeding and let it go 24 or whatever, but almost every 12 hours this guy gets fed, and it's frustrating to see it nice and bubbly and smelling. It just smells so good, and nothing. There's no rise on it. So I think that's what's happening is like, yeah, I'm getting frustrated, but I don't want to quit. I don't want to give up because I have put so much time into it, and I don't want to get rid of this starter to just start a new one altogether, because this one has developed, like I said, this really, really great smell and actually a really great taste in my bread too, even though my bread has been somewhat flat or not rising a lot. But I also need this sucker working for the cinnamon rolls, because I tried 2 batches of cinnamon rolls and they did not rise. So when you bake them, then they just come out, they're just very dense. They're not fluffy, and they're just dense. And it's kind of the same thing with my bread. My sourdough bread, you know, it gets like a good rise on it. Ooh, this is already moldy. I have so much bread around here that it's just, I'm not going through it fast enough. But I'll open this one. This one probably needs to go in the trash too. But anyway, it's just flat. See, it's like it's trying, but it's not quite working. So yeah, it's just been crazy. Let me cut this guy open. This one's been sitting there for a few days, so it's not crispy or anything anymore. But as you can see, it's just kind of dense inside, you know, like a lot of dense parts. There's not a good crumb inside of it because it's not rising enough. It's just not, I don't know, it's just not working. It's not working. So I never thought I would have so much trouble with sourdough. Everybody's like, oh, it's so easy. Just do your starter. And once your starter's going and it's rising every day, then bake. And it's just been, I mean, it's been, even when this guy was rising, you know, a week or two ago, it's never doubled. It's never doubled or tripled in size. But when it was rising, it would rise probably a good quarter, you know, 1/4% or whatever, a good quarter. I'd get a good quarter rise out of it. So I'd use it. I'm like, okay, I'm going to use it. And it's just not enough. At the end of the day, I think that the starter is actually what's happening to the majority of my loaves. That and too much water. So I have to learn how to adjust my water because, like I said, it's just getting too runny. I don't know if you guys are experts. If you have had this problem or this issue, please let me know how you fixed it. I would sincerely greatly appreciate it. And yeah, anyway, I'm going to start rambling on about my starter, but that has been one of my biggest things around here. All right, and then here is the bar loaf that we made, or the loaf of soap, let me get my words correct, that we made last night. I will probably be able to unmold this by this afternoon. And we didn't do any pretty designs or anything on this one. This is a new recipe for us because we are using this lard in it, and yeah, so that's new. So I'm really anxious to see how this turns out. Anyway, guys, that's what I have for you today. Finally, you see some green and growth in my gardens after 2.5 or whatever, a month and a half of me telling you it's coming. I promise it's coming. Despite some struggles, you can finally see some growth out there. So I'm excited about that. I hope you guys enjoyed that little tour, and we're happy to see some green and growth in my yard finally too, instead of just dry and dead and brown. And for the record too, on this, we don't waste a lot of water. I pretty much am still hand watering everything, so I'm controlling the amount and the output of water that goes into my gardens. And we typically water morning and evening, so I'm not dumping gallons of water on my garden at any certain time. And I try to do that purposefully, so that we're not blowing through a bunch of water. My water bill goes up maybe $10 a month during this time, and I'm good with that. Like I'm good with that. It is a struggle sometimes, especially with the heat, to keep the plants from bolting or dying, drying up, sizzling like they are. That has been a big struggle. But typically, like last year when I was doing this, we were getting rain by this point. And so when we get rain, I don't water at all, obviously. But it just keeps going around us. Like it's building every day, but it just, for whatever reason, we right here where I'm at are in this stupid little hole, and the rain just whoop, all the way around. You can go out and you can see it raining over there. You can see it raining back here, to the sides, to that side, on the mountain, everywhere. And here is just, it's just dry as a bone. And that's unfortunate, because if you look back to, I don't know, several of my videos, if you go back maybe last year, into my videos last year, you could see that my yard was flooding. We had several times where my yard was flooding. So yeah, so this has been not what I expected, and just kind of a little disappointing as far as moisture is concerned. I'm hoping that will pick up soon, and that we won't have that issue anymore. But I'm kind of at the mercy of the heavens right now, and the rain, and yep, that's how life is on this homestead right now. But other than that, there's a lot of excitement happening too. I'm excited for the market, though very nervous. I am excited. I really, really hope it goes good, because we haven't had a market in this area for a very long time, as far as I have been told. And I think it'll be good for this area, but it takes time to build it and get people coming out and to support. Even though it might be small to start or whatever, we still need that support. So if people are unwilling to do that, or they're just right away unhappy and they want to compare it to the rail yards in Albuquerque, that is not going to happen right away. If we can ever get it that big, awesome, that would be great, but that's just not going to happen right away. So anyway, I'm rambling, probably because I'm nervous about it. But like I said, any suggestions you guys have, I'm always open, because I'm learning so much stuff that one day you're going to see me and I'm going to be like this, proficient with so much, and I'm going to be able to teach and help people. And right now I'm like a quarter of a way there of helping people with certain things. There are certain things that I have done very good in my yard at this elevation to try to deter some of the pests that we have, especially the gophers. And that has seemed to really work, although I still do get little culprits here and there that destroy little things or get into whatever they can. We have done a fairly good job with keeping them out of our 2 big gardens that I showed you guys. So so it's little things like that, but there's still so much that I'm learning. And any feedback, I'm always open to feedback, as long as it's nice. As long as it's nice. I don't do negative criticism at all. I just don't. If you have positive feedback, encouragement, suggestions, I am all for it. And I thank you for it. And I thank you for watching my channel. And I thank you for supporting me and this channel. I hope to continue to bring content and get better with that as I go along too. So anyway, all in a day's work, all in a year's learning. God bless you all. Until next time, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content and to watch the continued growth of my property as I slowly develop it out. Eventually, you guys will get to see a home build here too, whatever we decide to do with that. But I think that's it. God bless you again. Until next time.